back. Couple
Hello,
more phone
and
calls
welcome
on this
to
very important topic.
what we call Rob Carson's. Let me just go ahead and kill that real quick. Rob Carson's, what in the world is going on? Let me just go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. Anyway, welcome to the show. I had a piece of audio playing, and I'm going to stop that. Hi, it's Monday. It's Monday, and glad to have you here. Bill is already saying, revolution! And Joanne in Washington, D.C. is watching. Hello, guys. Okay, so here's the deal. Tonight, we're gonna kind of go through some, let me get the mic out, because, I know you ladies want to see my face. It's pretty hot. We're going to talk about a little bit of the news of the day, talking about the country reopening, some other stuff. Going to try and focus on stuff that is not so doom and gloomy, because you know what? There's some great things that are happening. I am very blessed. I have a family at home. My son is not terribly happy about being at home because he's home from college, and he tasted freedom for the very first time. And, he's not happy about it. So, and my daughter is home from high school, and I would much rather have her in high school, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to get through this together. So, how does it sound? Let me just go ahead and double check my audio real quick here. Well, it sounds pretty good. Okay. So let's get started here, guys. How is your life today? Things are stressful. Things have been very, very difficult. Maybe many of you are without work. I hope and pray you aren't. 26 million people are without work in the country. Vegas is dead. And we got to turn this mother scratcher around. We have to. We have to turn it around. We have to start turning it around now. In Georgia, they started to open restaurants today. You can go to Waffle House. I know you can go to Waffle House, and I'll bet you won't even die. I mean, the food is not the healthiest, but you won't even die because of coronavirus because you went to Waffle House. The beaches in California, people said, F you, I'm going to the beach over the weekend. And they went to the beach. And you know what? All those people on the beach, they're not going to die. I know, crazy, right? People going out for walks with their dog. They're not going to die. I've been saying this from the get-go. Now, I've taken a great deal of heat, including a very large talk radio programmer for a chain of radio stations, and I'm probably never going to work for them because I had the audacity to express my opinion, and he's always been very dismissive of me. Even though I've been in the business for a lot of years and I speak with common sense, but I'll probably never work for this radio chain ever. And no, it's not Cumulus. It's another one. It's a big one. It's not Cumulus. Oh, look at my new designs. Look at these right here. You can now put these on masks, okay? So, even if you don't want to wear the Pandemic Express or COVID Cola, you could put it on a mask now and wear it just to make a statement. Okay, so all I got to do is any of the Chuck Fina. There's Chuck Fina. Pandemic Express, established Wuhan, China. COVID Cola. Everybody was kung flu fighting. Kansas City. All of those things can be put on phone cases and now masks. Just go to that website, tpublic.com. Look up Conservatees and order something. It's going to be really huge. Honestly, it's going to be really cool. Chuck Fina is available on the mask, so you can wear a mask that says Chuck Fina, which, if you switch around the first consonant, it's, kind of cool. Kind of cool. Speaking of China, which, by the way, China is completely responsible for all of the pain that has been caused in the United States. China is what Ronald Reagan called the Soviet Union an evil empire. China is an evil country. It is. And you know what? If you don't believe me, go to try to live there. Go try to speak freely in China. All right? Ain't going to happen. The only reason China is a supposed first world country is because they stole everybody's intellectual property, then enslaved their people to make it. Okay? That's it. That said, Bill Gates of Microsoft fame is saying that China did a lot of the right things from the start of the pandemic. Claims criticism of the Communist Party is a distraction. Now, China lied and people died. For the first time, we can honestly say China lied and a lot of people died. China lied and it caused a lot of countries a lot of economic pain like us. It's because China lied and they collaborated with the WHO and they covered this up. Now, we don't know if it was created in a lab. I bet your bottom dollar it was created in a lab in Wuhan, China, and it was deliberately being made as possibly a weapon against other countries, and I think they effed up and it got out. Because China's evil. They're awful. That said, Bill Gates probably has a lot of his products made in China. You know, I have a feeling that Bill Gates is probably in the pocket of China because he gets that cheap, sweet Chinese labor. Even if it's children, even if it's political prisoners. Oh, Bill Gates, he's feathering his nest. He's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. He's got a big old $45 million house in Seattle. It's probably gone up in value since then. But he's saying that this is all a distraction. We shouldn't blame China. Of course, I don't think Bill Gates is hurting, right? Yeah, I don't think so.
There is right now in Washington a very different mood, which is to say...
and that is Fareed Zakaria, who is a tool.
Far from cooperating with the second largest economy in the world, it is China that is to blame for this virus. You've been following this very carefully. How would you respond to the charge that, look, the Chinese covered this up, they've essentially deceived the rest of the world, and as a result, they should be held in some way responsible.
And by the way, all that is true.
For this.
Well, I don't think that's a timely thing because it doesn't affect how we act today. China did a lot of things right, at the beginning, like any country where a virus first shows up.
Like taking people who spoke out against and making them disappear or die. Dissidents by the dozens went away and came back either dead, disappeared, or suddenly very patriotic with regard to China.
They can look back and say where they missed some things. Some countries did respond very quickly.
He would have never gotten laid unless he was worth a lot of money.
And get their testing in place, and they avoided the incredible economic pain. And it's sad that even the U.S., that you would have expected to do this well, did it particularly poorly. But it's not time to talk about that.
Oh, no, I think it is. Because if you've got time to blame Donald Trump for everything, then by God in heaven, you've got time to blame China, which overwhelmingly the evidence points to it came from there and they did it.
This is the time to take the great science we have, the fact that we're in this together, fix testing, treatments, and get that vaccine. And, minimize the trillions of dollars and many things that you can't even dimensionalize in economic terms that are awful about the situation.
I think we can dimensionalize it. I think the people who are collecting unemployment right now, the people who can't go to work, the people who own businesses that aren't open right now, I think they can dimensionalize it. Yeah, they can dimensionalize it. Hello, Jared. Hello, Carol. How are you tonight? Welcome to the show. Okay. And Joanne, of course, from Maryland. The only reason that Bill Gates is feeling this way is because Bill Gates has made a shitload of money from China. Yeah, he has. Bill DeBlasio, his wife, First Lady Charlene McCray, is going to be operating a new task force, ensuring that New York is more racially just when it reopens. Okay, he's going to make sure that apparently there's racial inclusion with regard to coronavirus. Now she ran the Thrive in New York City initiative, which was a $1.8 billion attempt to make schools better in New York City. That the money disappeared and nobody ever saw it again. But now, basically, she is going to be in charge of the task force with regard to racial equity with regard to coronavirus. And we've heard that coronavirus affects more minorities than it does white people for some reason, and it's all my fault. Anyway, she's going to be in charge of this. She's going to get a big fat salary out of it. And ultimately, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Listen to this. New York hospitals quietly testing heartburn medication as treatment for coronavirus. They will know whether it's effective in a few weeks. China discovered that those over 80 with heartburn issues used Pepcid AC had a higher coronavirus survival than those used the pricier drug Prilosec. So Pepcid AC has famotidine and Prilosec contains omeprazole. I take omeprazole magnesium, which apparently is not going to help me with regard to coronavirus. But apparently they've been using famotidine, which is in Pepcid AC. Apparently it's working. It's helping people who are critically ill. We will find out. If Donald Trump says this is effective, of course, everybody in the media will say, don't take it because it's evil. But apparently that is working. That is working. Marty says, whose vaccine? Yours, Bill Gates? I don't know. Hi, Randy. What's going on? My friend Randy from college. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for joining me. We are on a couple of platforms, Rob Carson Show and Rob Carson on Facebook. Oh, by the way, this is Bill DeBlasio today. He took a walk for his in the park with his wife, 11 miles from the mansion where he lives. He went to another park. Just to, I guess I don't know. I always forget the Prospect Park. He decided that he needed to go for a walk 11 miles from a park. And he's done this several times. He's been known for going to the gym when nobody else could. And now he's taking a motorcade of SUVs to go to Prospect Park 11 miles from his governor's mansion to take a walk rather than just taking a walk near his mansion. Here he is being confronted by people saying, hey, dude, WTF?
Seriously, you guys have a park. You live in the middle of a park. You don't need to not essentially travel to Brooklyn. Come on, you won't even open roads for people of all backgrounds. I'm not going to give it a break. Like, this is selfish behavior. This is so terribly...
But you see that Bill DeBlasio is a let-them-eat-cake liberal. Now, I had coined this a decade ago. These are people who are socialists. They are the proletariat. You are the bourgeoisie. They can ride in motorcades. You can drive in an uncomfortable, crappy little car. They can ride first class or in private jets, and you can drive or fly in coach or not fly at all. They can live in mansions, and you can live in a little house with poison light bulbs. This is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Let's get back to the walk.
Selfish. You call yourself a progressive, but you chauffeur yourself to Brooklyn. You force people to drive you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, please.
She's got to get back to her newly formed job to make sure that people aren't discriminated against with regard to coronavirus, even though the coronavirus, I don't think it's racist. Just going for a walk. Big old lanky
This is
Bill.
ridiculous.
Why don't you get back to
this
ruining the
is the
city
epitome
there,
of
buddy?
non-essential travel.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty non-essential. I'd say, actually, he's non-essential at this point. Bill de Blasio, who, by the way, steered coronavirus patients into nursing homes, and so did the government, and hundreds and hundreds of people died in those nursing homes, even though the nursing home director says, please don't send these people here. Send them to the ship, the SS Comfort. Send them somewhere, but don't send them here. And consequently, the actions of Governor de Blasio and the idiot governor of the state of Missouri, or the state of New York, sent people to nursing homes, and they poisoned the other people in the nursing homes, and they died. And they died. Hello, Finn. Hello, Dave. Hello, Amy. How are you? This is how crazy we've been driven by the news headlines. We are convinced that without, by the way, any scientific knowledge whatsoever, without any proof whatsoever, that being 6 feet from other people would protect you from the virus, that not going to a restaurant would protect you from not getting a virus, that riding your mountain bike on a trail would protect, not riding it, would protect you from not getting the virus, that you not going to the beach would protect you from not getting the virus. This is all bullshit. There's never been any evidence. There's never been any burden of proof whatsoever on any of those things, and yet we've done it. There's never been a single shred of evidence that closing schools would prevent the spread of coronavirus. There's never been a single shred of evidence that my son going to KU would spread the virus. There's never been a single shred of evidence that my daughter, who can't go to high school now, missing the entire second half of her freshman year in high school, has caused a single bit of virus. Never a graduation ceremony that was attended by someone that caused a coronavirus outbreak, a party, anything. None of this has been proven. It's all been crap. And all of the models are wrong. All of the models are wrong. I read this piece from Andrew McCarthy yesterday. Government bears the burden of proof on coronavirus restrictions, but they have provided absolutely not one single drop of it. Show me a group of people who went to a beach and hundreds of them died because they played pickleball on the beach. Show me a single restaurant where people went and dined and everybody died because of coronavirus. Prove me a single thing. What has been proven to me? People who are forced to stay at home, people who are forced to accept coronavirus patients into nursing homes, those are the ones who died. But this is a sort of psychotic crap that we've seen. A math teacher in New Jersey saw kids with the audacity of playing football in a park outside. This is the psychotic crap that we've had to deal with. And by God in heaven, I hope that the people who are responsible for all of this nonsense are held accountable. But unfortunately, they probably won't be. Here is this psychotic teacher approaching kids in a park. And because they had the audacity of playing football, wished a very slow and painful death on all of them.
Am I screaming loud enough that you can hear me over your music? Park closed. You will get arrested if the cops come.
Hurl a football right into her face like Marsha Brady.
Wait, can we go over there?
Is that crazy enough for you?
Can we go over there?
Park closed. The whole area. Get it through your thick head. You are the reason we are in this situation. You are the problem, not the solution. Go ahead, keep recording. Who are you going to show it to? Post me on social media.
Well, they're going to show it to everybody because you're a psychotic piece of crap. All right? Steinert High School, she's a teacher there. Her name is Nicole Griggs. She is psychotic. Now, oddly enough, she's out without a mask on, taking her dog for a walk, but she sees kids at her school playing catch and decides to go after them.
You're the idiot doing the wrong thing. I'm just trying to save your ass and save your life.
Now, listen to this.
But die, okay? I hope both of you get the coronavirus. I hope you both die a long, painful death.
Cool. Okay, let's watch that again. This is a teacher.
But die, okay? I hope both of you get the coronavirus. I hope you both die a long, painful death.
I'm assuming she's single. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Honestly. That's a teacher. That's a teacher, and kids are playing catch. Let's deconstruct this real quick. We've got churches shut down and restaurants shut down. You cannot go out and walk your dog in some places. You will get called out by police. We had the mayor of the city of New York, Bill DeBlasio, saying, "Text me a photo of people who are standing too close at grocery stores." They ended up getting a bunch of dick pics and flipping him off and some Hitler memes because he's an a-hole. We had a sheriff in Connecticut saying that they were going to deploy drones to monitor people's temperature and if they're coughing. We had a mayor in Kentucky saying that, and actually ticketed people sitting in their cars at a church service in a church parking lot listening to the service on the radio. In the same state, we had police arrive at a church where people went into church and they came out and they recorded people's license plate numbers, and those people had to stay at home, sequestered and locked in for 14 days. You got a problem with this? Because I got a problem with this. And this is going to get big and fat and ugly if this crap continues. It's going to get ugly. Jeremy, I'm with you, brother. Jeremy, my broadcast brother, Jeremy Hansen, thank you for joining me tonight. Scott Atlas has written a column. It's time to ease the lockdown. Science says New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area accounts for approximately 60% of all U.S. deaths. New York is the top port of entry for the hundreds of thousands of tourists coming into the U.S. every month from China. Gotham is uniquely high density of living that swells daily by millions from workers and tourists, and Manhattan sees some 1.6 million commuters daily. This is why this has all happened. Multiple recent studies from Iceland, Germany, USC, Stanford, and New York City all suggest that the fatality rate, if infected with coronavirus, far likely than early estimates, perhaps under 0.1 to 0.4%, 10 to 40 times lower than estimates that motivated extreme isolation in the Big Apple. With almost one-third of all U.S. deaths, the death rate for all people 18 to 45 is 0.01%. 18 to 45, your chances of dying are almost nil. 13 per 100,000 of the population, 1/80th of the rate for people 75 or over. For people under 18, the rate of death is 0 per 100,000. Of Empire State fatalities, almost two-thirds were 70 years of age. Regardless of age, if you don't already have an underlying chronic condition, your chances of dying are very small. Of the 7,959 New York City COVID deaths fully investigated for underlying conditions, 99.2% had an underlying illness. Why in the F did we shut down the country, particularly states like effing Kansas, where I live? Dr. Leora Horwitz of New York NYU Medical Center, age is far and away the strongest risk for hospitalization, meaning if you're over 70 years old, stay the F home. Let the rest of us work. Recent studies show a more widespread rate of infection and lower rate of serious illness than early World Health Organizations, which is a corrupt organization that has been exposed as covering up for China, reported that 80% of all cases were mild. The vast majority, younger, otherwise healthy people, don't get hospitalized. Are you paying attention to every one of my friends? My friends who have commented me and shredded me on Facebook and even unfriended me because I had the audacity to say that this is no worse than flu with regard to most people, except for the elderly and those with underlying conditions. When states and hospitals abruptly stopped non-essential procedures and surgery, that didn't mean unimportant care. Treatments of most serious illnesses, including emergency care, have been missed. People have deferred chemotherapy. 80% of brain surgery cases were skipped. Perhaps half or more of acute stroke and heart attack patients missed their only chances for early treatment, some dying and now facing permanent disability. Transplants from living donors are down 85% from the year before. That doesn't include the skipped cancer screenings, avoided childhood vaccinations, missed biopsies, and now undiscovered cancers numbering thousands per week, and countless other serious disorders left undiagnosed. Dear God in heaven. We know that from decades of medical science that infection causes individuals to generate an immune response antibodies, and the population later develops immunity. Indeed, that is the main purpose of widespread immunization in other viral diseases, to assist with herd immunity, which is something that's been around forever. Don't act like it's a new thing. For the population immunity, it is great news that half of people are asymptomatic and that medical care isn't even necessary for the vast majority of people infected by this virus. Study of infected prison inmates in 4 states finds that 96% of them are asymptomatic. Marion Correctional Institute in Ohio, 80% of all the population was infected. Okay, 88% of the prison population infected. At prisons in Michigan and North Carolina, over half of those tested were positive. Across prison systems in 4 states, per the numbers provided, 70% had COVID-19. The virus is spreading through facilities like wildfire, but without much of a human toll, thankfully. Arkansas, North Carolina, Ohio, and Virginia, 96% of the 3,277 inmates who tested positive were asymptomatic, according to interviews with officials and records reviewed by Reuters. That's out of 4,693 tests that included results on symptoms. After a spike in cases at the Neuse Correctional Institution, Goldsboro, North Carolina. State correctional officials tested 723 prisoners last weekend. Of the 444 who were infected by the virus, 98% had no symptoms. The Cummins unit of the city of Grady in Arkansas and the Community Correction Center in the state capital of Little Rock found 751 infected inmates, almost all who were asymptomatic. I believe I have some people at my work. Look at the love coming up. Hello, Victor. Hello, Henry. Please share on social media. The numbers are growing despite Facebook trying to shadow ban me. Okay. Louisiana Pastor Tony Spell leads the Life Tabernacle Church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was placed on house arrest fitted with an ankle monitoring device last week. He refused to suspend church services amid the coronavirus. On Sunday, he continued to defy the order. According to the advocate, Spell, who lives just 50 yards from the church where he pastors, held services despite a judge's order prohibiting the pastor from leaving his house. He says it's a dirty, rotten crying shame when you have to hide in America. That's what he told his congregation. In late March, Spell, a pastor who was guaranteed freedom of religion and association and speech by the First Amendment, was issued a summons for violating the governor's executive order against gatherings of 50 or more people. He hosted a church service of 500 people. Everybody in his congregation is not dead. The following week, he was accused of violating the order again. He told CNN that he hosted at 1,220 churchgoers at Palm Sunday. He was arrested Tuesday, charged with assault for allegedly backing up his church bus dangerously close to a protester outside the church. It wasn't close. He was met outside the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison by cheering supporters after he posted bail. This is it, man. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Joseph Long, Spell's attorney, said his client will continue to litigate what he characterized as an attempt by the state of Louisiana to force Spell to stop preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ to his congregation. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is interesting. We got a Democrat in the state of Michigan, and she's saying that Donald Trump saved her life. Now, she is a 13th Congressional District Democrat Party representative, and she had coronavirus, and she asked to try hydrochloroquine, and she says it saved her life, and she is being censured by the House in the state of Michigan and by the governor. Here she is talking about how because she asked for something, the government or the president recommended, that the Democrat Party is attempting to ruin her.
Of course.
Why they would expel me is beyond words for me. This is something that I did not expect. I started out with a simple thank you to the man that is the president of the United States. It's a thank you. I didn't know that thank you had a political line. I didn't know thank you belonged to.
Oh no, this crisis has been political. In the time of our country's greatest hour of need, the Democrat Party has done nothing but make political hay out of it. From withholding aid to divvying up aid to places like the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, the Democrat Party has been nothing but a tool to work against the president during this country's greatest hour of need. We've never seen anything like this before, but it's happening.
One political party over another, and that if you were in one party, you could not say thank you to another person. I had no idea.
It's ridiculous. And it's shameful. Are you working? Are you working? I have a job. My wife's working from home. My business has been affected greatly. I have a supportive company that I work for. And I have you guys. Never seen anything like this in my life. Never seen anything like this in my life. You seen this story about this guy right here? You know who this is? It's a gentleman, Gary Lenius, his wife Wanda there. They both ingested a powdered chloroquine used in fish tanks. Because the president said you should use hydroxychloroquine, and consequently, even though this woman is a rabid Democrat, she blamed the president for her and her husband putting fish tank cleaner in their Mountain Dew, and her husband ended up dying. Hey, oddly enough, she's okay. She made it through just fine. People who know the gentleman who is no longer with us, he says that he's intelligent, level-headed, not prone to any sort of reckless and impulsive behavior. He reportedly engaged in on the day he died. Apparently, a lot of people are saying that this is there's a portrait being painted of a troubled marriage, characterized by Wanda's explosive anger. What bothers me about this is that Gary was a very intelligent man, a retired mechanical engineer who designed systems for John Deere in Waterloo, Iowa, and I really can't see a scenario where Gary would say, yeah, I would like to drink some of that koi fish tank cleaner. One of his closest friends told the Washington Free Beacon. Gary and his wife met and married in 2000. They'd both been married and divorced. A few months after the marriage, there was a domestic violence call to their home. She hit him on the head, was charged with a misdemeanor. Gary testified on her behalf, was found not guilty. Wanda had trouble at work. She filed a lawsuit claiming her employer had discriminated against her. She was furious all the time, apparently. Couldn't wait to get away from the company. Gary retired in 2012, moved to Arizona. He was really into remote-controlled model airplanes, but the planes apparently became a source of their troubled marriage. A source tells the Beacon that Wanda would visit him at a local park where people would meet to fly their planes, and she would routinely berate Gary in public. Hello, Chan. At one point, Wanda destroyed several of his planes, apparently because he came home late for a meal. Wanda allegedly destroyed the screen to his laptop because she was angry. He had upgraded software on the computer. In both cases, Gary reportedly took it in stride. He fixed the planes. He could, and his laptop on his own. So what happened the day that Gary took a lethal dose of chloroquine? Well, asked if they had a discussion about it beforehand, Wanda told the Beacon, no, it was really kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. A friend of Gary's said Wanda would often make a cocktail of vitamins for Gary. He was in the habit of taking what she prepared for him. About a week before he passed away, a friend said Lenius told him that he would never remarry if something happened to him and Wanda. Here's where it gets interesting. Here's where it gets interesting. Gary apparently was taking some medicine because he had heavy metals in his system. I have this right in front of me. Let me find it here. He had heavy metals in his system, and then one of those metals was arsenic. And he apparently was being treated because he had heavy metals in his system. Isn't that interesting? And he was taking these cocktails that his wife made for him every day. This needs to become she needs to become a person of interest in a murder. She needs to become a person of interest in a murder. I do not doubt for one moment this woman poisoned her husband. I don't know if you know this, but Joe Biden allegedly sexually assaulted a woman named Tara Reid in 1993. I don't have the the audio in front. Let me grab a piece of audio. This is Tara Reid, recent interview, talking about Joe Biden. She was working on Capitol Hill. She was asked to dress sexy and bring drinks to a gathering with the vice president, among other things. Tara Reid had issued, I'm not going to do the whole deal right now. I want to. But she was asked to deliver a gym bag to Joe Biden, and she ultimately ended up in an elevator with Joe Biden. And here is what she said happened, and she had told other people. She had complained about his advances and his stroking her hair and whispering in her ear, and ultimately it culminated in this.
He just said, "Hey, come here, Tara," and then I handed him the thing, and he greeted me. He remembered my name. And then we were alone, and it was the strangest thing. There was no like exchange, really. He just had me up against the wall. And I was wearing like a skirt and, a business skirt, but I wasn't wearing stockings.
This is a woman in her 20s. This is a woman who had hoped to have a bright future on Capitol Hill. She had lodged complaints with people who worked at Joe Biden's senior ups. Then there are names. None of them listened to her. And then this happened.
It was kind of a hot day that day, and I was wearing heels. And I remember my legs had been hurting from the marble, of the Capitol, like walking. And so I remember that kind of stuff. I remember like that, and it was kind of an unusually warm day. And I remember I was wearing a blouse, and he just had me up against the wall, and the wall was cold. And I remember it happened all at once. The gym bag, I don't know where it went. I handed it to him, it was gone. And then his hands were on me and underneath my clothes. And, and then he went down my skirt, but then up inside it. And he, penetrated me with his fingers, whatever. And he was kissing me at the same time, and he was saying something to me. He said several things, and I can't remember everything he said. I remember a couple of things. I remember him saying first, before, like as he was doing it, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" And then him saying to me when I pulled away, he got finished doing what he was doing, and I kind of was pulled back, and he said, "Come on, man. I heard you liked me."
Wow. You want to hear what happened after that? Let me show you what happened after this. Okay. This is what happened to her after she reported this.
They put me in a windowless office. I didn't have the one with the window anymore. I was cut off from staff. I was not supervising the interns anymore. Literally, my job was to show up and just look for another job. I wasn't allowed to go to legislative hearings, nothing. So
her career was over. Her career ended because Joe Biden sexually assaulted her on an elevator, and she didn't go for it. She didn't think it was good. This is the kind of behavior that he's probably done time and time and time and time and time again. Here she is talking about her entire career over because she had the audacity to mention that Joe Biden penetrated her with his fingers.
After the whole serving the drinks thing happened, things got really tense for me. And it's like my supervisor kept finding fault with my work. Like all of a sudden I was doing things wrong all of a sudden. And then she took me aside and sent in an assistant and said, "We want you to wear different clothes. You need to button up more. You need to wear longer skirts." Like, in other words,
blaming the rape victim for the clothes she's wearing.
She said, "Don't look so sexy." She was like really blatant about it. And she goes, "Try not to be so noticed, like too noticeable." The other person was more awkward about it. She was just like, "It's not coming from me, but they're telling you to wear longer skirts and button up more, and you're a little too provocative." Right. Is the word she used.
Wow.
Right,
Wow.
So, and I was like, "Oh, this is weird." So I told my mom that, and she goes, "That's retaliation. They're trying to retaliate. You need to document everything." And my mom was very adamant. And I wasn't, and I was like, "Mom," and my mom even said, "You march in there and you tell them this is sexual harassment and you don't take it." I'm like, "You don't march into Ted Kaufman's office and and you don't do that. And I just wasn't comfortable. I said, I'll never be able to get a job on the Hill again. And it didn't matter because I couldn't anyway.
And her career was over. Because she didn't play along with a man twice her age, physically assaulting her on an elevator. She mentioned her mom. She told her mom, her mom fought valiantly. If I had been her father, I would have found a way to beat the snot out of Joe Biden. Here is her mom. She called into CNN, Larry King Live, right after this happened. And CNN made this tape disappear. This tape was discovered by another organization, and this is her mom calling into Larry King Live. CNN has not done, they've done one story on Joe Biden in this incident and Tara Reade. They did 700 on Christine Blasey Ford and her supposed encounter with Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Even though she didn't remember what year it happened and where it happened, and all of the friends that she said was there, none of them said it happened. Here's her mom calling into Larry King Live in 1993.
We're back. A couple more phone calls on this very important topic. Our guests are former United States Senator Howard Baker, Richard Allen, former National Security Advisor, and Lois Romano of the Washington Post. San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what
It's her mom.
a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
So all of the people who are supposed to help her on Capitol Hill, none of them did anything, and she chose not to go to the press.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Well, but these are the people who do come to the Lois Romanos, right? The staff worker who says, I want to let you know about what's going on, either with my boss or the guy down the hall.
And a lot of these people have a sense of obligation. They feel that this public official should be accountable if it's something wrong.
The whistleblower.
And her career ended, and her dreams were dashed. And she became Tara Reade, who we'd never heard of before. You got to wonder how many women on Capitol Hill are still there who went through this and how many were discarded. And this happens all over the country. This happens in state houses around the country. And they pass legislation to protect women from sexual harassment, and then they do things like this. My prediction is that this isn't going away anytime soon, and I think the Democrat Party realizes that only 14% of Democrats passionately endorse Joe Biden. The rest of them realize that he is not there. There's nothing upstairs. Let's see if I have I thought I had some video of Joe Biden and Jill Biden. Jill Biden actually talk. Yeah, here we go. This is Jill Biden over the weekend doing a TV appearance with Joe and doing all of the talking like he's a ventriloquist dummy because he's not there, guys. And if you are a Democrat, hi, Kevin, how are you? I know you're a Democrat. But you have to be saying, this man is not there. And it's cruel for anyone to continue to push him towards the White House, knowing that. And if you are a serious individual, you know he's not going to make it through that first term. But here she is doing all the talking while Joe Biden, who can't put together a thought, stands beside her.
And together, we're just getting started. This moment reminds us that the presidency is about true leadership.
Why is the First Lady doing all the talking? The First Lady. The would-be First Lady. Why is she doing all the talking while he just stands there? This is akin to like the physical disability of FDR being covered up. But this is a mental disability. This is an inability to function mentally.
Having the forethought to prepare for the worst, the backbone to lead through chaos, the character to move beyond politics and serve every American, no matter where they live or what they believe. Only one candidate in this election has all three.
Donald Trump.
My husband, our next president of the United States, Joe Biden.
There he goes. He recognizes who he is. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But there she is. And when he's on camera, he can't put together a thought. You know? All right, couple more things before I go. And I'm going to do more on the Tara Reid thing. I will, trust me. But we will move on to other things here very quickly. Georgia barbershops and tattoo parlors and other places are opening up in Texas, by the way. Texas, they actually reopened a bunch of stuff today. You can go to a Waffle House, I believe, now and get some grub and all that stuff. And here's some footage from Georgia. This is yesterday. Business is opening so people can actually have the audacity to go get their hair done and their nails done.
Being able to come here today is just a blessing for me.
And make your head look like a baked potato?
So tell me what you think about Georgia being one of the first states to open.
You know, I try not to second guess our leaders, and
you got to kind of wonder what's more deadly, the chemicals in her hair or the coronavirus that could get her that she wouldn't even show any symptoms for.
I believe that he has information that maybe we don't fully understand, so I try to be balanced.
You so need your roots done, girl. I didn't want to say anything. I know we've been sequestered and everything in quarantine, but my God, I wouldn't be caught dead with your hair like that. So even if you get the coronavirus and you are, at least I'll make you look good.
And understand that people who own small businesses, especially someone like Missy, take great pride in how they do things, and I think it's going to be as safe as it possibly can be.
There you go. And she's there, and she's getting her hair done. And I'll bet you anything in a couple weeks she'll still be alive. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms been telling residents to stay home. She tweeted the latest coronavirus statistics, told people to share them with their manicurists. As part of her effort to encourage Atlanta residents to stay home and prevent the spread of coronavirus, she says, if you're getting your nails done right now, please share these new numbers with your manicurist. She added the hashtag #StayHomeGeorgia and graphic showing the latest Georgia, U.S., and global coronavirus infection and deaths rates. Bottoms tweeted her Friday comments that she suspected that Atlanta residents would take the opportunity to escape isolation for the first time in just under 3 weeks. Imagine that. It's like leaving Cuba since Kemp's stay-at-home order went into effect. That's the governor. They will go into hair salons and go get manicures and pedicures as if it's business as usual, and then in a couple of weeks we'll see our numbers continue to rise in this state. I don't think that the coronavirus is going to survive that, the aluminum foil and the poison on the head. And then, I don't think so. Hello, Jada. Hello, Don. How are you? Hello, Aaron. Thank you for joining me. Let's do two more stories. Two more stories. Who does this? Who the hell does this? I hope this jagoff gets caught. See that big fat dope driving the Dodge Ram? Oklahoma, they've released a photo of a man caught on camera dumping his dog off on a remote trail, leaving the pooch waiting for his owner for 9 hours. Animal Rescue did find this jerk off. They've named the dog Rocket, and this happened outside of Tulsa. This is absolutely not okay. Dumping a poor defenseless animal in the middle of nowhere and driving away is cruel. And it is. I hope that big fat dope gets caught or somebody finds him and gives him a little what fur. What fur? Hello, Issa. How are you? One more story. So you try to steal a truck. What's the worst kind of person you could steal a truck from? Maybe somebody who has a gun. Maybe somebody whose truck is immobilized or whatever. Or how about a guy who owns a helicopter? Yeah, how about a guy who owns a helicopter? Yeah, this happened in New Brunswick, Canada. The Toner family, Emmanuel Toner, had his truck stolen. They own a helicopter, so they just went up in the air and they chased the son of a bee for 2 hours. It was a 2017 Ram pickup that stole it. And they ended up catching the thief, and they went live on Facebook with this, and ultimately they found the jagoff. There you go. Yeah. Oh, he's speaking in français. Sacré bon. Quelqu'un voler mon pick-up truck. Yeah. So, time for me to go. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you had a great weekend. My show on Newsmax TV starts this weekend. This show is going to be a little bit dressed up, a little cool looking, and it's going to be on Newsmax TV. Newsmax, it's available on, just check your local cable subscriber. It's online. It's everywhere. Newsmax TV. 70 million homes covered by Newsmax TV. Their ratings have gone up 200%. Let's hope that they continue to go up when I join their cast of characters. I think they will. In the meantime, check out all of the politically incorrect designs. You can get these on masks now. Chuck Fina. There you go, Chuck Fina. China is what it is. You can see that. Pandemic Express, COVID Cola, all of those. Everybody was Kung Flu fighting. Get it on T-shirts. Jada says, have a fabulous week, Rob. Hey, Jada, you too. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, certainly on Wednesday. So if you want to write me personally, just go to carsonontheradio@gmail.com and buy something from me, will you? Have a glorious evening. God bless you. And I'll see you again soon.